Chapter 16. You took him so seriously. Next morning, when they walked through early, fresh, foggy air, said Dominic to Diamond, "You surprised me." He nearly jumped. "You, as in one woman, should be more sensitive," said. "We have to help. Anyway, maybe we'll find on the end something what could be a lesson for us. So do not be pessimist." He continued to walk and she didn't know where. "I hope that will be good for us." She still didn't believe in those games. Illness is hard to explain, very hard. You don't feel anything, and on the end, you start to don't feel pain too. There's no one to help or give support. There is no one to says thanks or to be a friend. The illness is death, whatever it is. The best thing is to be alone, but hand could be given. Don't you agree with me? He couldn't stop to speak, and I am very interested to see the man who become mad because of the profession. Both of them didn't know that they were walking on the middle of the street. The loud noise of the car woke those two from their thoughts. Dominic and Diamond nearly started to run, one on the left and the other on the other side. When it passed, Dominic tried through the heavy air to show what her friend was. He lied in the middle of the snow. It is not time for such a winter. Dominic couldn't stop to laugh in front of the position where her friend was. "Do not laugh at me. That one could kill us." Whoever he was, Dominic looked behind the car, but only what she could saw was the color. It was dark blue. "Did you see the number?" He tried to stood up on a feet-capped oak tree with both hands. "No, but don't worry. The driver didn't see us because of the foggy, I think." She still couldn't stop to laugh. "I don't know. We have to visit someone who's been a huge problem with government before 50 years, said slowly. Diamond was afraid as someone who could hurt him. "I don't think that this car has anything with it. Better hurry it if we want to find out what is happening." Wind started to blow stronger, so it began to be colder. But after a suggestion to Dominic that they should use some driving thing, he without a question refused it. "I like to walk on the fresh winter, and it is good after everything what we did. Breath in city," was his explanation. "Do you feel cold?" She couldn't keep her words for her own. "Are you exulting?" he asked. It was obviously that he was freezing. "Pardon me." Dominic carefully walked behind him and took care about every step. "I've never had that feeling. Nevertheless, I heard about the word and found out about it meaning through the direction." She tried to don't laugh, but it was on the corner. "Listen, I have to tell you something what you should know." He corrected his yellow-green wool made hat. This, then who will meet does something interesting as psychotherapy, sending back people back into the post, if you believe in that. He looked at her with expected an answer. Well, I heard about it, but I've never had that kind of experience. She stopped for a second as remembered something. Maybe they made him a problem became of that. You know how in those times they didn't believe in such things as Inquisition. Diamond made a break for a hole. I think that something like that was only because of a fear that people could lost their border between reason and fantasy. Maybe he was right. Through Dominic thought Dominic, but she didn't say anything. It would be better to wait to meet famous men. After a long walk through the street, they didn't meet anyone except one young woman who ran to enter in some of the building. It was the old part of the town. Don't you think that we are too arrogant? Asked Dominic suddenly. Why? Diamond didn't understand her question. Well, because we made the agreement to question all. Talk, anyway, with someone who is so older and highly educated than we are. We're not going there to analyze. Don't you think that is so early for something like that? She felt shame and unpleasant. That wasn't our idea, as the desire by our professor. So, will you take it that way? He was feeling very cold. Sorry, but my cultivation taught me to have respect, not because of anyone else or anything, except because of the age. And of course, it is normal to have respect by the others older on the first place. Everyone has problem, young or old. She couldn't stop to talk because of straight and strange fight. But something we lost control because of so but sometimes we lost control because of so much injustice that passed through or next to us. Diamond stopped. Dominic also stopped to talk. She raised her view and concluded that they finally got on the looking place. It wasn't possible to see anything up, are there or not some extra one because of clouded, which were too low. The view reminded Dominic on Fairy Stories house. She loved that feeling. Did you ever before felt humans suffer? Asked Diamond during his carefully step by step up to the stairs covered with snow. She didn't say anything because tried to do same. I don't think that anyone, with exception by our age, don't feel it. Everything is so funny to them. Dominic finally put a hand on the door lock. She felt very well, felt and understood suffer. It is very it is way of hiding a fear. It was everything what she could said. Are we here? Asked. Diamond checked the note with the address. Yes, we are here, and started to took a number of to look a number of apartment. But before he did anything, sound of delicate circling paid their attention. One small old woman opened the door. Are you coming to visit Professor? Remind. Her voice was soft and kind. Yes, Diamond said short. In this manner was something what expressed the impatient. I'll show you. Where is he? Said old lady. Neither of them didn't note how sympathetic person spoke very well English. Slowly she raised her hand and knocked on it before they've got a respond. Did anyone follow you? Asked old lady with her low voice. Diamond and Dominic looked at each other. It was dark in the cold hall, but before Dominic answered, Diamond prevented her to speak. No. He looked at the diamond, Dominic, and she started to know that he wanted to hide their experience with strange car. But maybe it was nothing. Small old lady knocked again. The door were opened. Professor stood on his doorstep. He looked directly to Diamond and Dominic. Come in. With them, he turned and slowly walked back inside of his apartment. The others did it too. First, old lady, for who Dominic supposed that was a neighbor, then Diamond, then Dominic. Last, she closed the door behind her. He doesn't like guests, whispered old sweet lady. She's never got married. With some kind of complaint, their homeowner replied to them. That is the reason why she speaks all the time behind the back and keeps secret. And is taking so ugly. Dominic couldn't laugh, even that she wanted. It is not nice and polite to do the things without someone else knowledge. He looked at her under an eye. Could we change a world? He turned and took a place in the old-fashioned armchair, left the door open to anyone. He said, and showed with hand the other two to do the same. The old lady got a nice smile on her face. She likes that man. I'm going to prepare coffee. Before anyone could say anything, she left the room. So you two are here as peacemakers. It was some kind of irony in the voice of old man. Our professor started Diamond, but he stopped because Sir raised hand as order to did so. I know. He took a deep breath. Dominic felt not pleasant because she's been present. So how can some old punished man would be useful to such a young person as you are. My time isn't very good story or explain for a new generation. He didn't hide how his opinion about the job or anything connected with his life didn't make him proud. It is good for the history, slowly said Dominic. Professor looked at her on some kind of way which her grandfather had from time to time. I know that it's hard to remind our own self on the bad things, even the good one from past. But there should be something what could or will help in case. She wasn't, but she collected all the courage to continue. Yes, maybe you're right. I'm grateful because you are here, he said with now more kind way. When person got in touch with something for only himself, knowing reason, important then was possible, understand the meaning of being. I'm not a god, I can't be. We are not him, and we should listen his words. So, the words are important. From ever to ever, from whom and from where they've came. It is a part of spirit, and the spirit is a part of God. So, I will talk. Ask whatever you want to know. He sits more comfortable and waited. Some people are thinking that we can't be without them, so they instead only themselves in, intend only themselves and their ideas, whatever it is. If girls does like a young man, what should he does? Shall he let her as a gentleman or he will insist? Sometimes it is good to try, but not too much. The man who is different than the others because of a different kind of life that he had. Are you poor? It was a strange question. I see, continued the professor when he saw their reaction. Obviously, both of them were surprised. You don't like surprises? Me neither. Until we have one, only one. He raised his finger up. Poor man or a person on the earth, the human race is and will be in the fact. His health wasn't very well, so it was too much to tell. Man stopped for a moment. Too many wise persons who use it against the others and to live only for themselves. Too many people who don't control their reactions. Too many people who don't want to learn except the advice. And too many evil one. Was he sad or was he agree? No, was he anger? No one could knew. The whole atmosphere around wasn't something what Dominic hadn't seen before already. But there was something what was interesting in it. Young lady, the professor saw her researching around, but she thought that her reaction are discreet. Sorry, yes, She quickly removed her look from the old man's face. Who gave you better if it is not too private? You got that name? Asked my grandfather. She said quietly. How old is he? Dominic wasn't surprised about questions. By the way, it was normal to ask stranger in the home more about life and got better knowledge about your, continued to answer Dominic. She didn't allow herself to be confused. Nice name. Maybe he wanted to ask more, but the old lady came into a room with nice smell of coffee. So start, Professor gave an order. Diamond looked at Dominic and then his new friend. He hoped that he could be. Well, we wanted to give you this letter. I think that inside you will find what we need and about what to help us. He slowly stood up and, with movements full of respect, put paper in the professor's hand. He took it. It was silent inside the room during he read what was in it. It is not easy to be politician or do what I did or work intellectual because everyone except a wise respond from you, he said after he closed the paper. Do you know what this looks like as asking an help from ill men? There was a moment when I wanted to finish with my life, but I didn't. The hope was stronger. It was a bad, very bad situation for everyone. I had some friends and I learned a lesson. Someone who won't or show performance as took or threat, how will short a life in 95% wouldn't do. That's because who really has intention to do it well without a word. It was just so emotional telling that Dominic concluded how intelligent men across her had that kind of experience. I had a friend, good friend, who couldn't stand the torture as every normal person, and even that he hated that over himself. He did on the others. It was the best partner, and one of my students, very highly intelligent one, explained slowly as he read Dominic's thoughts. How did you succeed to survive and expect all those terrible moments? Dominic felt not pleasant because of question, but she must. I couldn't accept anything, my mind also. But when you asked how I survived, I did because of knowledge that I am not only one who felt that way, who tolerate terror, pain, and suffer. That thought kept me to lie. Dominic, at the first moment, thought how maybe he would say that he had an ideology so strong which gave him a while. It is the best when you could ignore it and to not tell madman how he is. With tremulous hands took his coffee. You know what? There wasn't any ideology, clear one. There was a strategy, but it was the love for freedom, for better life during the Second World War. People were fighting against a huge power for better, against inhumanity, against poorness, against lie. The worst true was a million times better that or than one lie. We didn't start, they did it. It was a horrible way to live as nobody. We didn't want to kill, but we had to defend ourselves. Those days, and still people don't approve such a things, but I want to explain how it looks like they didn't allow. Too many of us suffers more than one human could stand. It wasn't a war between two crimes. It was a war of monsters. Many of us died in battles against them. Many of us got sick, but that fight still continues. It hadn't stopped. Young ones are confused. They trust to our uniforms, but unfortunately, there is something what can't accordance with nice life. Friend, respect. We didn't like to be servants. One man is important as hundreds. That's how we thought. And it is not necessary to be such a wise to feel understand. Diamond wrote every word what he said. We are here to talk, but also to learn. And your friend asked that from us. He was proud to be there. Yes, but not too many people wanted to give orders and only they speak. Don't want to listen the others. That is what could be dangerous if the words are not right. Anyway, thank you because you came, my children. He sounds so sweet that Dominic felt how knows this man whole life. Remember something, no matter what if maniac or a killer wants to destroy a life, he or she or a group will do anything and find any reason for torture a person before a killer would do the finally. Murder or homicide, insult, destroying anything. First, tortures, as I said, then when victim felt sick and weak, let her or him to die or kill her. It is something as a devil job. There shouldn't be a reason for it, even that could be something in their hands, I mean killers. No one could be responsible except the authorities for others' misfortune, whatever. But the killer will find a reason as testing someone expecting something, doesn't know what. That was my case. If you find explanation for something like that, then you are the same as those monsters. This could be paranoid, but they are everywhere in business, art, show business, culture, medicine, religion, and society groups, politic group everywhere. Is especially we have problem with young students whose parents wanted them to be important and rich, not human or experts experts in their jobs. He was right. Dominic had some friends of her whose were just like that. Maybe it is natural as a reflex of someone's need to be first and to be leader, dictator. There is no normal interests. It is the wish to feel power and to destroy or to kill, empty life what they possessed. That people are arrogant and with every talent are accordance with not enough developed mind under an animal. Professor stopped for a second and his face expressed that he felt the pain inside of his body. But soon he continued. They wanted to rise, to show how they are over the others. It is not important. If you love someone, you'll be with that person. If that one doesn't, you're too close. Present should be expected and as understanding. If you don't love someone, leave him life, to live his life. Everyone has right on that. Comedy is not for amateurs. Sometimes it knows to hurt a feelings and that is very painful. Leave fantasy for your pillow. That's why we have them. Diamond started to laugh. It was the most interesting phrase that he's ever heard, and allowed the others to do it, to have their own privacy and their own wishes and sweet dreams and reaction without anyone present. The old man didn't react on the diamond smile. He was wooing around worry and irony on the everything what persons could able to do. My friend died because of that kind of torture. By a woman, by their children, and by religion, groups as politic one. Those people didn't want what was their work or job or whatever was had as a point. Psychological violence, vandalism. Diamond stopped to laugh. The worst thing in the life is when people doesn't know what is the shame. Now Diamond's face was like at the child's one that could make Dominic to laugh, but she controlled herself. I had a friend somewhere from north who told me once how life will turn that we will slave us to it, even how we use it. We slave us or people at all. But unfortunately, no one wants to change it. There is a tragedy. Dominic didn't know why and how Diamond felt in that moment, but she saw a small boy in that wise and should be strong man. The roles were changed, unfortunately, he said, as did read her thoughts. You see, there were a moment when should be that way, when someone discover how it is good to learn, to love happiness and to hate misfortune. Maybe we should forgive, but now after all these years, I don't know. Dominic thought that he closed his word and they didn't find out because of what on the first place they were here. In one moment of my work, I said, who will read this? It is important. Or someone and something else is more on front. When you got to the point where everything stopped, when you felt how your own life, if we call it that way, became against on everything what you expected the least less. Dominic didn't understood him well. Well, why someone is more beautiful than the others? Shape are shapes, and everything should be. It is a matter of existence. Like this girl. I don't know. Do you understand shapes and everything should be? But it is kind of feelings who are not have them. Feelings are important, not shapes. Energies, not shapes or colors, are showing and weak our feelings. And look at one picture. Who was on his wall? See, there are two disappointments. One, because of your proud was touch, or because you are sensitive and feel pain. Are two, because of their human being could make you feel that way or did such a thing. This picture expressed something like that. React on bitrate maybe could stop fatal questions. Sometimes it's not good to insist, but tragedy is so powerful that is always over a life. Fight against humiliation. Fight against the dictatorship, dictatorship, against two faces, against poorness, against illness, and kept proud. It sounds as advice, but also as prey. Bad time are changing, or I hope so, his sound said. Everything what is behind whatever was hard had sense. Life had, and see before you can't live longer than 40. But today it is over 80s. Not confusing of people who lived. In natural, they could prolong life to over 90s. But my life is coming to the end soon. I feel it. He looked at the floor in front of him. You have nice shoes. Have you find your place yet? He looked at Dominic. She looked at Diamond, didn't know why. Do it before. Old experienced men, their movement couldn't pass invisible. Before you come into my age and became an empty bag full of disdain to in and disgust to the others, all without reason. And if the devil made in heaven and hell, that it is like that. I'm sorry, man was unhelpful. When you want to challenge friendships, feelings for someone, on the first place, to cold anger by enemy, the best recipe is to does self-critic. He changed the subject suddenly. That confused his guest. What old experienced man noted at one? Well, on a first place, my memory served me because of explanation by evil in last few days. Now, Dominic felt how some kind of strange chilly air passed through her body. She was afraid. What was something which concluded at that moment? Ah, girl, what human could do? Professor Sensitive, that. But anyway, there is the better if we'll get back on the subject and reason because you got here on the first place. Dominic and also Diamond woke up from the dream, whatever. I'll tell you something. I don't think that you are on a good place for help. This visit only could make you more trouble and problems. He was sure, but tired. I said so much that on the end. With his old hand touched the head with closed eyes. I don't know what I wanted. Real life is real one, and the theory is something else. Dominic didn't have time to investigate it around. What was behind, what in front, or on the top above her. Maybe Diamond did. She looked at him, but he was so obsessed with every word which came from them, suppose new leader, to thought past could become true.